Hey, hi, my name is Chris. Every day I do a vlog. I'm doing one for 1,000 days. Yes, 1,000 days. So if you're not subscribed, a subscribe would be absolutely awesome if you could. And yeah, every day is a uniquely different sort of topic or subject that I talk about. Today, prejudging people. Yeah. Do you know what? I found myself doing it recently. I was in a particular location and I saw some people knocking around, and it would be very, very easy to jump to conclusions about certain people just based on looks. Now, I looked at these people and I'm no better than anyone else. I want to put that out there right away. But I saw these people and they just didn't look friendly, shall we say. And I was convinced of it. And I'd written this narrative in my mind before I'd even gone anywhere or done anything. I prejudged. Yeah, I felt so bad about it. So here's me, I'm struggling getting out of my car, and a certain person said to me, "Do you need a hand? Can I give you a hand?" And I was still sort of like prejudging in my mind. But immediately I said, "Yes, please, if you could. Thank you." And they helped me to my house with this item from my car, and I felt ashamed that I'd prejudged. We struck up a lovely conversation. They're more than likely going to say hello to me again, and it just felt like I just shouldn't do it. I just shouldn't do it. And I haven't done it for a long, long time. Again, it's part of the human condition. We all have these feelings about like people, areas, or maybe something or someone. We prejudge something. And I just felt like it really took away from my experience. Had I just been a bit more open-minded and a bit more savvy to where I was, I wouldn't have done that. I just wouldn't. And I thought this chap was absolutely so gracious with his time, and we communicated, and like I say, the whole experience made me feel like by prejudging I'd denigrated that whole interaction. And when you do that, it just takes away from the experience. It is silly, really, isn't it? We do this. We do it as human beings. Sometimes, I mean, there are some jobs that you have to sort of prejudge. You have to make a judgment about people or things or situations. You have to, because maybe that's your job. Maybe you have to think outside the box holistically about things that aren't tangible. Maybe people present in a way where you pigeonhole them straight away. You box hole them. But it's only through communicating with them that you think, gosh, they're not that bad after all. They're okay. And when you understand that, it's only when you communicate with them and you press forward with them that you realise, gosh, I was so wrong to prejudge. And that experience really highlights for me that the fact that there are people from all walks of life out there, and if one of them presents themselves to you, it does not make them that villain, if you like, sometimes in your mind, before you communicate with them. Now, I guess there are certain scenarios in life where it is good and healthy to sort of prejudge something, but that prejudiced view of somebody that I knew nothing about really left a stain on me, and it was a real wake-up call. Now, there was nothing based on race or gender or anything like that. It was purely based on I was in an area where, shall we say, a certain level of people live, and like I say, I'm no different, no better than them. I'm absolutely the same. But it's an area where you might find interesting. But my experience was I met lovely people there with kind hearts and a willingness to help. So when I had that willingness afforded to me, it made me feel completely different. So I try and avoid the prejudice of life. And it was, like I say, a wake-up call for me, trying to understand really my interpretation of the world, and knowing that I should really look at how I progress forward. I'm going to be in that area for a while, and I understand that I've got to modify my approach. But outside of that, I wouldn't say that I am prejudiced. I try and base my opinions on how people treat me. And I think that's a healthy thing to do. You don't always remember what people say, but you remember how they make you feel. And if you can feel positive towards somebody, that's got to be a good thing. I don't feel that I am a prejudiced person. Like I say, it's the content of the individual which is paramount. Now, if somebody's displaying horrible behaviour, then of course that quality of contact drops off, and you don't feel that you have that connection. But I'm going to say to myself, this is a big world, you know. I mean, some people would look at me and they would say he's a 6'6", bald-headed guy. He's probably into football and probably, loves fighting every Friday night. And but again, nothing could be further from the truth. And I like to think of myself as a decent, kind human being who's doing his best on this rock in space. And that's not always a bad thing, is it? If you can do your best. But it was certainly an uncomfortable feeling after that exchange. I mean, this chap completely volunteered help at the face of me being or feeling prejudice, you would say. But I accepted that help willingly, and we had a great communication, and it was lovely. So the moral of the story here is keep an open mind. Be positive towards people. Nothing was verbally exchanged between me and him in terms of my feelings. Moreover, the more I communicated with him, the better that exchange was. And it really, really made me sit down and think. Because what do we want at the end of the day as human beings? We want fairness, we want dignity, we want respect, and we want kindness. If we can share all of these things, if we can do that, life becomes so much better. And if people display that to us, we're only ever going to offer it back. And isn't that lovely? Isn't that nice, knowing that we can give back to the world without that prejudice? I know there are people probably watching this who may have felt prejudiced in their workplace, may have felt it walking down the street. They may feel that they've had some decision made against them which has been unfair, and they felt ostracised outside of the team or the gang or the family or whatever it is that connection is. But if you're feeling that, just try and make that connection again and try to understand. I think sometimes when you communicate with people and you have that understanding, any prejudices disappear. If you can understand the other person's point of view and why they present that way, it may well be that there's a reason behind it. And like I always say, everybody fights a war you know nothing about. And you know, how can you let that affect you? So I learned a lesson, a valuable one, the other day. Don't prejudge somebody just when they approach you, especially when they're offering you help and kindness. And I'm so glad and lucky that I had that interaction, that communication. It was really, really nice, and I certainly feel blessed for having that connection with that person. So if that person is watching this, thank you, and thank you for your help, and thank you for sharing your kindness and your time. It's very much appreciated. And moving forward for me, I'm not gonna be so quick to jump to a conclusion. That's the other side of it, isn't it? Don't be so quick to get there. Just keep that open mind and open heart, and you never know what life then has to throw at you. And maybe, just maybe, I won't feel so bad afterwards for at least having that feeling, because it's an uncomfortable feeling. And really just treat each other on their merits. I think that's the best way. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate that. If you're not subscribed, a subscribe will be absolutely awesome. I'll be back again tomorrow talking about something uniquely different. So from me to you, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.